Hello, y'all. Today is Sunday, January 16th, 2022 at 10:17 a.m. in the morning. So it's cold and 40 degrees, and thankfully, no gnats today. So yesterday was rainy and 67 degrees in the morning. In the afternoon, and last night I didn't even have to turn on the I didn't have to turn on the heater. But this morning it was really cold. So I haven't peeped outside yet, but I've heard that in Alabama and stuff it's got some snowflakes and flurries and stuff. But so I got the heater on right now. I don't have anywhere to go today. Well, it ain't beach weather, so I couldn't go out, to the beach, and the library's closed. And I've been staying in here most of the time, and the only time I've been going out lately is to go to job interviews or applying for jobs and stuff like that. So I only got about 5 hours of sleep and can't go back to sleep. I don't know if the room warm, in which it will, once it warms back up, maybe I can take a nap later on. But yeah, I only got about 5 hours of sleep, and so I'm wondering what's gonna happen this week, or who's gonna, excuse me, which employers are gonna call me back, or what interviews I would have, or something like that. So transportation is a problem because I don't have, I'm banned from riding the buses, and I barely have enough money, for any spare money for Uber. And I and it's like I'm just, I know that by the end of the month I'm gonna have to be gone out of here, and you know, so. But I need as I said, I need all the help I can get, with financial donations and stuff. I wish I had a car because then I could be mobile and get around, better with job opportunities and stuff. It's very difficult depending on an Uber, or you can't get transportation at all, and stuff. And so me barely having enough money for, since I gotta be out of here by the end of the month, I would have to try to find some place in mainland Pensacola, maybe another motel or something. I don't know, but I'm really scared and frightened to be back on the streets because now, the winter weather didn't start till a couple of weeks ago, but before then we were having, like, it would be December and be 78 degrees and stuff, and you still could go to the beach and stuff. But now it's being like in the 30s and 40s, and it's like, you know, um, I know that I haven't really done anything horrible to anybody, horrible enough that people want to make it like as if, oh, you know, Candy burned her bridges from everybody. So you're gonna leave me to die, or think that, encourage people to don't help her and she's this, she's that, or whatever. So it really feels like as if I'm just wasting my breath talking. Even with exposing or showing my showing my gang stalking experiences, or saying what I'm going through and stuff. And people think that I'm just pitiful and pathetic. That it's been over a year and a half, or about a year and a half, and I'm still still asking for help. But it's like most of those targets have flipped and became perps, and some of them haven't, but some of them, the majority of them have. And so once they got their popularity and stuff, then they start to act like perps, and they don't need any help no more because, but I haven't taken any deals. I've turned down all the deals. And so, as I said, how can you fill out 30 job applications and within 1 week and sometimes don't even get a call back? Like, I even saw that a couple of Indeed employers had looked at my application but then don't even respond back to me, but I get the notification that they viewed my application. And it's very hard and contradictory how the system operates, and it's frustrating. It's like they want people already experienced, but how do you expect to get experience? How do you expect to get experience if they want everybody out, and people who want to work, and you won't give them a chance, and then it's made to look like as if, illegal immigrants that come, that they're, very great with working and getting a job and keeping a job, and that Americans are just lazy and don't want to work. And that is not true. Most employers don't train you on certain job opportunities. They want you to already be skilled and stuff like that. And the only time you might get paid on the job training is something like fast food, mainly fast food, or maybe something janitorial. But it'll just take like 2 or 3 days to train and show you how to do, show you what chemicals to use to clean what, to clean whatever in the bathroom. Like, this chemical is to clean the mirrors, this is for the sinks and toilets, this is the solution to mop the floor and stuff like that. Or this is how you batter chicken, or this is how you drop fries, or something like that. So and as I said, one of the main setbacks is, there are some vehicles that basically, even office jobs, demand that you have reliable transportation, which means your own dependable car or vehicle. And it's like people ain't even trying to help me with that. And I have applied to somebody gave me the idea to apply to some car donation programs or car charities, but that, it's not even, it's not guaranteed for me to, get one, get a, excuse me, a donated vehicle. And you go to church, these churches to, for help. And sometimes the only way that they'll help you is if you're a member of that church. And even if you are a member of that church, they still don't want to help you. Like when I was in Los Angeles downtown, they had this Glory Church of Jesus Christ, and I think that's the name of the church, on Washington Boulevard, close to um, South Grand Street, I think is the name, downtown LA, and it was a Hispanic church, and I think church was on Wednesday night, and they would give out fruits and vegetables and food and stuff, and if and they had a whole lot of homeless people around there, so black homeless people that needed food, they would be turned away because they're not members of that church. They'll be, you know, and then I've dealt with the people, the Hispanics at that church. They would be very vicious and mean and hog up all the food and leave me with nothing. And I was, attending that church for a while, and the church services were in Spanish. But, even those people didn't want to associate or communicate with me or talk to me or nothing like that. I've even attended some Korean churches, and, but it's like, it's despicable how churches treat people these days. And even, the outcasting and favoritism in churches as well. And I believe that the church, the body of Christ, should be able to do more to help the poor. And but I understand a lot of people in the body of Christ are struggling too if they haven't sold out. But but it's like a lot of churches turn away the poor that need help, and Jesus spoke against that. That we're supposed to be able to help the poor and needy and stuff, and it's like when I was living in Los Angeles, I was living in LA and downtown Skid Row. I'm wondering, how come it seems like as if they cater to the druggies to get help? But if you're not on drugs, then they'll try to make like you're a mental health patient, or you're crazy or something, and force mental health, and that's the only way you can get help or get off the streets. And so and then they do like satanic cult brainwashing in these homeless shelters, the forced church services, and so much control over homeless people. And so it's like when I was living in downtown LA in Skid Row, thankfully I was never on the streets in Skid Row downtown, but I've experienced being on the streets in LA before, but I avoid, like, even when I went back there in 2018, I avoided Skid Row like the plague. So, I mean, they would have like housing programs and job opportunities for the people, just for the people, for the men, for the drug programs, but not much of anything for women. And they had this thing called this opportunity called the Path that's supposed to help get people out of homelessness. But it's like they're all there, just these so-called homeless organizations, like just like the opening doors here in Pensacola. It's all for show, and the illusion of looking good when they truly don't help anybody. And my heart breaks for the homeless people who have encampments that are forced to be evicted, and then the rich only care about image and appearance, but they keep all their money and don't help the homeless. And they be like, oh, well, all they're gonna do is spend all their money on drugs. Not all homeless people would do that. So all of homeless people are forced to be punished because of the stereotype by the rich that, oh, all they're gonna do is spend the money on drugs, or they're on drugs, and or they burned all their bridges from all their family support and friends due to their drugs and mental illness, so therefore they deserve the predicament that, I mean, all these just assumptions that I mean, I've been told that I'm in a predicament that I'm in, and that nobody wants to help me because I burned all my bridges from the what they want to say, the people who trying to help me. But it's not help to direct somebody to mental health, which is mind control abuse, and you're not getting any help or any healing all these years. Just more abuse. And then when you stand up to abusive tyrants, oh, you burned your bridges from the people who trying to help you. But opening doors, every time I try to, people give me resources to homelessness, and everything always redirects back to opening doors. And those people have closed their doors in my faces, and in my face, and they're supposed to be a professed Christian-based organization, and they're the biggest organization. And then it's like, I can't really contact anybody or try to get to anybody to try to figure out why y'all stalling on me, or you know, my number is blocked. I mean, due to COVID, it's been harder for people to even contact them. And I'm like, what happened to y'all? Said y'all had funds. And then I heard that, you know, like Salvation Army throughout the U.S. or any of these other rescue missions, and this organization and that organization, these fake homeless charities or whatever, they take the money for themselves. Like the staff, they take the money for themselves and give us homeless people crumbs, and then rob you of nearly your entire Social Security check, just to be, you know, enslaved and abused in a prison-like kind of environment where you can't come and go as you please, and the shelter will straight up tell you that you can't work, that, you know, they won't allow you to go out and get a job or work. Or they'll say, if you try to go out and get a job they'll say, well, you'll lose your bed that you paid for. And they have no problem with robbing the homeless and robbing the poor. So I mean, I wish that the churches, but I know what that's all about. These sellout satanic 501c3 Masonic fake churches. I heard that almost every church building, you know, almost every church where people go to on Sunday, almost all of them are government owned, sold out 501c3. And I heard that the Freemason, you know, the Freemasons put out the false idea that homeless people are crazy and on drugs and burn their bridges from family support and stuff like that. And a lot of times family members sell you out and got life insurance policies out on you and ready to human traffic and sacrifice you, and they get big bonuses. And then, you know, you being targeted and trafficked and struggling and homeless, you know, and can't get a job nowhere because you're blacklisted. Or if you do get a job, you got to deal with workplace mobbing and stuff. And you're not allowed to run your own business. You got to be forced low income or no income at all. And so a lot of people forced into homelessness are targeted individuals. And it seems like, you know, sometimes the perps and the, you know, I don't understand why the hell are you perping Or why? How the hell are you still homeless if you turned into a perp? Or I'm not saying all homeless people are targeted individuals, but some people end up on the streets by no fault of their own. Like what happened, the fire in New York that happened about a week ago. I'm thinking about situations like that. People can end up homeless like that, or by disasters, or the what was that, flooding, or what bad weather that happened recently within the past month or two. It was some bad weather in Kentucky or Colorado or something. I think it was Kentucky, maybe winter storms or whatever. And it's a lot of different and a big large array of circumstances that can make people become homeless. And a lot of the times, sometimes if they end up homeless and in despair and stuff, sometimes they might turn to drugs later on. But a lot of, like, the targets that I've met, or the targets that I've dealt with that been homeless, they seem level-headed and not on drugs or anything like that. But if you go speaking the truth, and people will think that, she must be. If you start spewing out truth out of your mouth, then if you start speaking the truth, then they'll be like, oh, look at her, she must be doing crystal meth because she's talking out of her head or something like that. But I don't even appear to be on drugs, do I? I don't even look like a druggie. But I guess the only drug I've been having was high sugar sweets. But but you know high sugar diet. But I'm just you know I'm saying that no more desserts for me. But it's hard because I've been like thinking about ice cream, but I barely have enough spare money to buy, and to go and buy any ice cream. So um I'm very scared of being back on the streets again. And I was thinking about something last night. Well, I finally was able to join join in on a live video of narcissistic abuse, and it was like a community chat. And I finally was able to get my answer for why people with narcissistic personalities don't want me with the car, or they don't want me to drive. And yeah, that's another one of their control tactics. So I figured, well, I finally got me some relief. You know, the it's a their manipulation and control tactics, and they said that's a number one thing, that the narc does not want you to drive. And it's like other people said that they had the same experience. um, so, and I thought about the foster mom said that I don't have the mentality or the sense to drive. I've driven her in my car before, and she would get mad and yell at me and say, "You're not." I mean, and it's like all these people when I'm driving on the I-10 in New Orleans, the Crescent City Connection Bridge, and I'm driving, and it's like I'm trying to get over, and all these people crowding me. You know how they say they swarm you as a target, and I didn't realize I was targeted back then. And I'm like, and she yelling at me, telling me get over. I'm like, these people won't let me get over, like switch lanes. And she yelling at me, saying, "You're not driving just for you. You're driving for everybody on the road." And I'm like, you're making me out to be the selfish one. It's like they're the ones who won't let me get over. You know, like they're in such a doggone hurry, but it's a whole bunch of cars. And so then she turned around and make it like she couldn't help but to admit that I drive pretty good. She said, "Oh, you drive pretty good, Candy." But then later on still treat me like she didn't trust me to drive. but was always well, not always, but driving my shit. Her driving my car. And one time my twin sister tried to tell me that, oh, the foster mom, that, oh, she been driving your car, because I left my car to the foster mom when I went to Costa Rica, and she said, oh, my mama been driving your car, um, to class, the fake called Bible class and stuff, and I bet you she was taking advantage of driving my car, but I only drove the foster mom's blue Dodge Caravan. I only drove that thing twice. I didn't like it. It didn't really, the van, the pedals didn't feel comfortable to me. But I've driven her van a couple of times, but yeah, it seemed like I had to prove to her about I had to have my own car first and my license, but she'll let everybody else freaking drive. But I thought that was just a temporary phase. But I finally got my relief that I finally got my relief and my closure that the people who don't want you to drive because they're narcs, and that's one of their tactics, one of their control tactics, so to restrict you of your freedom. And I have my license. I do have my driver's license, but for I don't want anybody stealing my identity. That's why That's why I'm not gonna show y'all a picture of my license publicly. But my video's about to cut off, and I'll see y'all later.